I am going to figure out a way to go somewhere and do a test on ring lights.
What do you mean?
I cannot get my light right ever, ever.
Oh,
And 8 at 8, it's horrible. And tonight it's kind of glary, and I don't know. I
see,
don't know.
but you know what? Even with ring lights, because of, the fact that we wear glasses, it's always going to be glary. So it's just a
But you
question.
look fine to us.
Sure.
Yeah,
They
and then I'm looking at us on the Facebook. It looks good.
well, good.
Are we live?
I
We're
they
live.
I see
Oh,
some
okay.
people that I know that have the kind of big light hoodie thing, like a screen or something behind them, and that kind of helps with the light.
Oh, look. Every time Maurice puts a video together, he pulls out these lights that are like this big, and there's at least three of them. And then he has like umbrella type things that
Yes,
like
yes,
Oh, he just
soften the
goes all
light
in.
up. So, anybody who sits there and says, "Oh, I got a camera, I'm good to go." There's a whole lot that goes into
yeah.
it.
It's
So,
it's a
yeah.
lot. It's a lot. But I tell you what, we got a good guest tonight, and I'm not going to talk about my woes in terms of lighting. But we've got a wonderful lady, and look, I'm warning our listeners as they come on that we may have some technical difficulties, but you know what? It's going to be all right. We're believing that
It
she's going
is.
to come back in strong, and all will be
All is
well.
well.
All will be well. So everybody's got their weekend review already planned out and ready to share, I am sure. And let's see, I don't have anything else special. Oh, you know what? We were supposed to talk about the writing challenge tonight. I don't think we have that. Do we have that? No, we don't have that. Okay. So we're going to start it in March, maybe?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, we won't talk about that this evening then. We'll wait and talk about it later. We can do that because this is our program.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, we can.
y'all.
we we're the hosts, so we can do
Yep.
what we want to do, right?
The
So
hostess with the mostesses.
that's what we will
All
do.
right.
Are we all set for the open, folks?
We
We are
are
Sure.
ready.
set for the
Oh,
open.
well,
Thank you
let's
so
go
much,
ahead
Alan.
and do that. You guys have a good one. You never know what to expect
That's
on
true.
Authors Up.
That's true.
Talk to you.
Well. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hello to my co host. Hello, Ruth. Good evening to you.
Hello. Good evening.
And Queen Victoria, good evening to you.
Hello.
Hello, hello. This is the best way to be on a Sunday evening. I tell you that. I think I say that every week, but I really mean it. I enjoy
Exactly.
myself.
As long as you mean it, that's what counts.
Right.
Well, I hope you all agree with me that this is a good place to be on a Sunday evening. After a long week, you just kind of want to wind it down sometimes, and it's a good place to be. We've got great guests that come on. We've got some challenges this evening with with getting our guests in, but we're going to see how that plays out, we're going to keep moving and keep going, and hopefully we'll be able to get her back on the line. She's really a delightful lady, and she's got some great information for us. She's got a story to tell, and it's one that is was very interesting to us. Because it was kind of she's kind of on the other side of the fence, but I'm not going to talk too much about her because Victoria is going to give us her bio in a few minutes. But let's go ahead and get started with our weekend review, which is what we do every week, and I think I'm supposed to lead off tonight, so I am going to tell you about my weekend review. Are you ready?
We are ready.
Ready?
That's great because I have zero.
Really?
That's my line. 0.
No.
My week was just quiet. It was quiet. It was busy, but I didn't have any standout things this past week. I've been busy trying to nail down dates and venues and get calendar stuff together for upcoming events, which I'm excited about that, but it wasn't anything huge or exciting. Did doctor stuff. That's never exciting. Let's see, just calendared some, I guess prioritized some things. I was pleased with some writing that I got done for my 8 at 8. I did manage to take some time out and had lunch with a friend. We've been trying to do it for years. She reminded me. It's one of those things where you know how you see people and you say, we got to do lunch.
Right.
Got to do lunch.
Right.
Got to get together. We got to get together. Well, we finally did. We finally
Good.
plans to do it, got it on the calendar. And I'm really, really so happy that I got to spend that time with her. Sometimes we got to do that. We got to make sure that we take time out for ourselves and take time out to be with people that we care about and that care about us, and just have a little downtime sometimes. It's a good thing to do. So that was kind of where my week was focused. I'm looking forward to beginning a book for a book club that I am a member of. Not a good member. I'm not in good standing with the book club, but
I
I'm
wouldn't say that.
trying my best. So I'm going to start on this book early. And it's funny because when I looked at it, I was going through the library and I just had to smile when I saw green lights, because it has
Oh.
absolutely become one of my most favorite books. And if nobody's ever gotten it or heard of it, it's by Matthew McConaughey. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful read. I think anybody would enjoy it. And I
It's
think
a
that's one
wonderful
that
list
listen,
too.
yes, because he's narrating, and
Mhm.
if you are a fan, then that is one that you don't want to miss. I haven't. It's interesting too because I looked back on my list at the books that I had finished, actually read all the way through. And there are a lot of them hanging out there that I've got some time on in that Audible that I didn't quite make it to the end. So I think that's something that I'm going to be working on in the near future, to go back and make sure that I round out the circle on my Audible books and get all of that done. Meanwhile, I'm going to start the new one. I have enough time.
Mhm.
Allotted so much time during the day, every day, to listen to a little bit of it so that I will be prepared when the next book club comes around. So that's been what I've been up to. What about you, Victoria? What was your week looking like?
How about my week was sort of just like your week. I just unpacked my suitcase from last week today. And I'll tell you, we had our little beach trip, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. I had some health challenges while I was there. This arthritis is giving me a fit, y'all. But I made it. I made it. And just so grateful to have a chance to get away. The beach was just beautiful. I had not gone to the beach. There were a couple things that happened that trip. I had not gone to the beach in off season before. And I had not also ever stayed at a property that was right on the beach where I could just go out my room on the balcony and see the beach. So that's two things checked off my list. And it was so nice. It's so nice. I don't ever want to go back to staying 5 miles away again. It was just so nice. It was really nice. And so just coming back, I said had a couple of doctor's visits myself this week, and sort of was fighting a little bit, feeling sorry for myself today. But I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful to once again be here on Authors Up. Look at my friends, enjoy the authors that we talk to, and just be a part of life. So I'm like I said, I'm just grateful tonight just to be here. Sometimes just showing up is half the battle.
There you go. There you go. So what about you, Miss Ruth? Ruth, I was thinking about your baby sister the other day. When are you going to go see her again? Is she?
She coming up here? We want to see the baby sister.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Yes.
Oh, she is. So today's my dad's birthday. So
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
He
Bobby?
is Bobby. Yep, he's 71. I have a 2-year-old
Wow.
sister. I've shared this before. And she is 2 years old. So I
Wow.
talked to him yesterday, and all you could hear was her screaming in the background. So she is doing what 2-year-olds do.
Right.
I'm hoping we're going to go visit her again soon, and
Good.
we're gonna bring her down here at some point. So she
Yeah.
is she's 2. That's all I can say. I mean, cute as a button, but she's 2 years old. She's
That
2.
explains it. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was, yeah, so I talked to him yesterday. My daughter came to visit, hence the lovely
Yes.
haircut.
She
So-
looked you up once again. Your hair is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. So she just kind of, I kind of feel bad sometimes because she just does it, but it's just like, she has told us multiple times. She's like, no, you guys let me practice on you. She's like, you gave me life, so I don't care. I'll come back and cut your hair. I'm like, I can't argue with that because she does a great job. So
Yeah.
she just came up for a few days just to hang out and, unwind. She has a very long days.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody does hair, you can be there for hours
Yeah.
on end. So, she got the opportunity to unwind. I had to go back to work because I was off the previous week with
Yeah.
COVID. But no, she got a chance to hang out with her daddy, and that was nice. So it was
Good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Very
So
good.
that's
Very good.
Mhm.
Well, I have been just excited, and I know the two of you have as well with the guests that we have on tonight. She's kind of waiting in the wings there.
All right.
Some technical difficulties. We had to flip some things around, so we've got our fingers and our toes crossed, and we've done everything else that we could. So hopefully she will be in with us in a moment. But in the meantime, Victoria, why don't you tell us a little bit about her?
I surely will. Our guest tonight is Kimberly Merritt, and she has served as a pastor's wife for 25 years while homeschooling their 4 kids and working as an artist and illustrator. She has illustrated over 70 children's books for authors all over the world. Stepping into writing and illustrating her own books came naturally as her love of sharing the gospel and delight in creating colorful characters mesh wonderfully together. Little lamb, follow close. In that book, we may see ourselves in this little lamb who learns the benefits of staying close to the good shepherd. In Lely's Not Perfect, we may laugh at the antics of Lely, but through her, we are reminded that the Lord loves us and sent us perfect Jesus. Well, after a little short break, we'll be right back with Mrs. Kimberly Merritt.
Well, there we see her. Kim, there you are. Okay. Welcome to Authors Up. Glad to have you in the house. Glad that you made it.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we can.
Good.
Awesome. I'm going to turn you over to Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth, go ahead.
Absolutely. Kim, we are so happy to have you here. We're just welcome. So
Thank you for having me.
awesome. So let's get started. You came to us via Michelle Hill and Joy Vander Tuin with their books on the Little Mischievous Lamb. And you were an illustrator for their books.
Yeah.
We often speak with the author, but not the illustrator, and was pleasantly surprised to find out that you were both. I mean, we would have had you on just for the illustrations alone, but
Yes.
that you're a writer on top of that. That's not usually a combination that we've run across. So usually we start with the book, but let's start with your story because you're an illustrator first, or are you a writer first?
Illustrator.
Okay.
Would you like to hear how I got into that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's kind of neat. I've always dabbled with art. And artists, it's very hard to actually get your art to do anything. Like it's very hard to sell a painting or really, I don't know, feel like it's being enjoyed by people. And my husband's a pastor, and he was pastoring a church up in New Hampshire, and we now live in New York State. But I decided that I would do this craft show, and it was actually at a local school, and try to put my art out and see if maybe I could get some commission work or I could sell a painting. And up in New Hampshire, the folks just tell you how it is. It's not always very gracious. I had to get used to that. But anyway, this lady comes up and she's looking my art all over at my booth, analyzing every painting. And finally, she comes and looks me right in the face and she says, you're really not much of an artist. You're more of an illustrator.
Oh, okay.
And so my heart sank. and I thought, well, okay, thank you, ma'am. And then I turned around and I looked at my art and I'm like, well, I do love to draw people doing things. And I do love to draw animals. And when I do a painting, there's already sort of a story in my head that goes with that painting. There's something behind it. And I thought maybe I really am an illustrator. So I just got on Google when I got home and I typed in Christian illustrator and I was in awe. I just was blown away, all the neat things that could be done. And so I set my heart to get a website ready and start teaching myself, watch tutorials, teaching myself how to convert my art into illustration work. And I put my, little package about myself, some samples of my illustrations out there on the internet. And I started getting people who were self-publishing authors contacting me. And I've done 73 books now. So I have to say I thank the Lord for that lady that came up and told me the truth about myself. And because she opened up a door where I can, I can do art and share it with people in such a really neat way. And every day it's exciting. I mean, one day I might be, drawing a funny frog, and then the next day I'm on to the next page and what's happening with that frog now. And it's just a great, a delight to work on a book and to see what's coming next and what I get to draw next. So that's how I got into it.
That is awesome. And I have to say, because, sometimes we get these pictures of us stuck in our heads, and we get offended when people come up to us and they say what we're not thinking.
Yes.
Imagine if you had gotten offended by her and been like, no, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
We might have been
Wow.
deprived of work. That is
Right.
awesome, though. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I ended up meeting her later on in life and
Uh-huh.
thanked her and told her what happened. So that was kind of neat.
Oh,
So
Did she even remember? Did she remember?
she did, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome.
That is
Yep.
awesome. That is awesome. So, all right. So it's 73 books.
Yep.
Are they mostly like animals, people? What were they run the gamut of everything?
Yeah. I'd say most of it starts out with like a main character who is a person.
Mhm.
And then, they might have a pet or something that I need to draw throughout the book or something. But there
Mhm.
is like with Giselle,
Mhm.
Michelle Hill and Joy Vandertulen's books, the main character is Giselle the sheep, so sometimes it is a book that's just about an animal and the story that they have in their life. So anyway, yes, it's some of I sometimes laugh and say to my husband, you would be in shock the things I'm drawing today. It's so silly. Just what a great job. So
Yeah, that is. So are you by hand or are you computer?
yeah, so I started out not knowing anything about how to do this. So I didn't know computer technology that great. So my first probably 25, 30 books were completely painted on paper.
Mhm.
And so what I would do is draw a sketch, take a photo of it, send it to my author, see if they approve it. I really hope that they would approve it because boy, I got to draw it all over again.
Mhm.
Oh, you want things moved around on this? Okay, I got to erase the tree and put it over there.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I would actually physically paint the paintings, and then I would have to take them and have them scanned at a high resolution, so they'd be ready for the printer process. So it was a lot of struggles with that.
Mhm.
I did it, but I kept thinking I really need to learn how to do this digitally. So at first I started taking those sketches or those initial paintings and putting them into Photoshop and learning how to clean things up and format it properly for the publishers. I started there, and then eventually I just kept learning and anyone that would sit with me and explain to me more about what I needed to do or watch tutorials or whatever. I taught myself how to totally do the art on Photoshop. So I work on it's called a Wacom tablet. And so I draw the sketch in, and then same thing, I send that to the author. And when the author approves the sketch, then I can go in and finalize it and put in the color and format and whatever. And it makes it much easier for me because I can do those things in layers. And if if the lady wants the tree moved over here, I can do
Right.
that, where I don't have to erase and start the painting all over again. So it's been a blessing to learn how to do that.
Wow.
That's neat.
Wow.
So let's switch gears a little bit. We reviewed your book, Little Lamb, Follow Close.
Okay.
Um, And I have to say, as much as it is a children's book, it's very much also for the folks reading the book. It is the illustrations are just beautiful enough. They will draw in the kids, they will draw in the adults, but the words and just the understanding and just the story itself is just deep. So tell us about what made you want to switch from, okay, I've illustrated all these books, now I want to write a book, and tell us about
Mhm.
this book.
I was actually spurred on by my mom. She would say, "Well, you ought to write your own book, Kim." And I thought about that for a long time, and then I started thinking, do I have anything to say? Do I have anything that I feel like would be helpful to someone out there? And I thought, well, I do love this theme of, us being the sheep
Mhm.
and the Lord being the good shepherd. That's always been a great comfort to me. And that relationship that we have. And so I started to think, well, what are the things I've learned about that? And how can I put that in a way that it might be simple enough for a child to understand those lessons that we learn in life of relying on him and following him close. And so thankfully I don't think of myself as very smart. I'm just kind of a flake, so I just want to do art and stuff. But my husband is intelligent, so he was able to look it over and see if there was any grammar problems and then I had a lady from church also that's smart and just checked my punctuation and grammar and all that kind of stuff and tweaked things. Maybe there was something I said that wasn't worded clearly that I needed to rework. But anyway, I had help as far as making it proper. And it was really a delight and a joy to do it. I felt very much that it was for the Lord, and I imagined little children reading it and parents reading this to their kids, and was hopeful that it would be encouraging. So
That's awesome. Well, I think it will be. I think it is. What's the reception been for your book?
I'm not great at marketing. I don't know if that's, I think that actually is a struggle for a lot of authors, but I know a lot of the folks that I've illustrated for, that's been the struggle. But I did publish it through Amazon, through the KDP. And I have had pretty good sales, but the thing that encourages me the most is the people that send me a note or put a review on there or whatever of something that on how the book was used in their life, or what, those things, I guess, are to me more important than how many books I've sold. Yeah.
That's great. Right.
Incredible. Okay, I'm going to hand you over to Andrea.
Well, I want to start, Kim, by saying to you, you are far from a flake. Far from it. Anybody who can teach themselves how to do what you have managed to do, I think is an amazing person. I can't. First of all, to illustrate, I dabble in watercolors a little bit. And I had somebody teach me, and she taught me seascapes. And that year, everybody and their brother and their pets got a seascape for Christmas. But my mother complimented me by saying, "Oh, you got one of those paint by number things." That boosted my ego a lot. So to know that you were able to teach yourself how to make that transition from your painting into the digital work that you
The
had to do. It's
no, yeah, and I have to say this because I use that software every day, and that
Really?
is not an easy software to use. Not for
Mhm.
mm,
not for beginners. So for you to
Wow.
teach yourself that, I applaud you.
Mhm.
So
yes,
Wow.
absolutely, absolutely. I
Mhm.
and just let me break 1 minute and welcome Angie. Angie O is on the line with us from South Carolina, and Freeport, Bahamas joined us while we were in the middle. So we want to say welcome, Freeport. Glad to
Yes.
have you on the line tonight as well. In terms of, well, there are a couple of things I want to ask you. One, in terms of doing the making that transition with your illustrations, how long would it take you typically uh, to 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 do one illustration that wasn't too intricate? Um, Now I know with the Giselle books, there are a lot of characters and a lot of things
Yeah.
going on in those brilliant pictures. I mean, they were really, really fantastic. But I know that that probably took you longer than the illustrations that you did for your book.
Yeah.
But on average, how long would it take you to complete a drawing?
Uh, I would say I give a good day's work, like a good 6 to 8 hours on working on the sketch. Um, then any revisions that the author might want, because I usually send that right out to them, get their feedback. Um, and uh, and then once I get their approval, I probably have another whole day of getting that painted in and um, shaded and highlighted and all the things,
Mhm,
and then formatted just right for the publisher.
mhm.
So I'd say at least 2 days if I work steady. Because I'm a pastor's wife, I don't normally work 2 days in a row. It's kind of, oh, we have this going on and that going on, and so it's an hour here and an hour there. But yeah, I would say it's probably a good solid 16 to 20 hours per page.
Per page. Wow. Wow. Now we talk a lot, and those of us, like you say, we all write. I have had a couple of things illustrated, um, but we always look at it from the standpoint of what we want as authors. You know, what we want
Yeah.
to deliver to, or want the
Mhm.
illustrator to deliver in terms of what we've got in our head for the book or whatever. As an illustrator, what are some of the questions that you ask the author? What is your process like? Because I'm sure that, well, I'm not sure, but because you've done 73 books, but I'm thinking that there may be instances where someone wants you to do something and you think, well, this may not be a good fit for me. No, this may not be something, the match just isn't quite there. You're not feeling each other or whatever, however you want to frame that. So what do you look like? Okay, here I am, and I've got this book, and I contact you, and I say I would like for you to illustrate a book about Giselle's cousin, the little fox. We're going to do a book about the little fox. What are the kinds of things that you would ask me to
Mm,
provide for you so
mhm.
that you don't have to go through as many iterations of it or move the tree from the left to the right or whatever?
Right. I really like to have my authors give me a very detailed description of what they imagine.
Okay.
So if they want to say to me that the little girl has red hair, that she's always in a dress, that she's really short, and I always want her in a background where it's the family home, and I want details of the setting, what they imagine that character look like, um, what kind of personality, so that I can catch some of the expression and things. Um, So I really appreciate a real detailed description on each page. And sometimes there will be an author that, as you described, sometimes things just don't jive, where they come up with more things beyond what they've given me. And that's why we have all the revisions.
Gotcha.
Like sometimes it might be that I didn't understand that, you wanted it this way. And it is something that I definitely, need to fix. But sometimes it could be that the author didn't tell me all those little details. They just came up with them, or now that they see the drawing, then their imagination goes wild and they're like, well, couldn't we add the cat? And couldn't we, and that's okay to a point. As long as it doesn't go on forever, that gets frustrating when you just can't ever get that page approved because they keep adding more things to it. I usually charge not by the hour, but per page. So if I end up spending all these extra days on a page, that's frustrating.
Right.
Then sometimes I encounter an author that gives me a little bit of description, and they'll say, I want you to have some creative input on this. And so I'll start the book and I'll keep kind of feeling them out. Are they happy with the look feel of this? Are they, and sometimes things need to be adjusted. But it's a process just trying to understand what they would like. And I really want it to be what they want because it's their book. So that's really important, I think, not to just take it and do what I want, but to get their character down and their scenes,
Nikayetta, good evening to you. Glad to have you on Authors Up with us tonight. Thank you for joining. I think that what we have seen, and if I know you have your book there. I hope you still have it close. If you could kind of hold that up, the cover, so people can see the cover of the book, and see that cute little lamb there. And
Yes.
really sweet. And I just think that I think it's amazing. I think when illustrators can come in and produce the kind of work that you have produced, it's just amazing. And I think it's different. It has to be different when it's your book. And you know what you want that little lamb to look like. You know what you want those pages to look like. And you can go forward and do that. But I think to be able to capture what someone else's vision might be for their characters and for the cat and the dog or whatever is it. And we even, I think we were fooling around when the Whimsical Day, when we did Giselle's second book, and Victoria was talking about the cow, and she said, well,
I asked what was the cow's name.
Cow didn't have a name, and she wanted the cow to have a name.
I remember that.
So we had really gotten into that. I just commend you. I commend you. And as Ruth said, I applaud you because I can't, I imagine that must be very, very fulfilling when you nail it. But I think to just be able to get in somebody else's head. And we do that with music. Sometime the young man that does a lot of the music for ALH Broadcasting and some of the shows, and it would always amaze me because I would tell him what I wanted and I would just hear it. I mean, he just kind of knew how to put it together. So I think you are a treasure, and I think that it is evident that you have done Giselle twice in your being able to capture what that character looks like, what that character wants us to feel. And I just think you're amazing. And I'm glad that we got to meet you. We never get to meet the illustrator. So I'm just really, really happy that you're with us tonight to give us some tips so that when we are looking for an illustrator, we can say, okay, Kim told us, she told us to do this. So we're going to be on it and be happy about it. So thank you. That's my portion. That's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I will let Victoria have her say.
Well, you guys asked the questions I was going to
Are we
ask.
back to that?
But I'm sitting there going, shoot, they done asked that one. I got, but I have a comment, and the book, your book, Little Lamb, Follow Close, is absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
It is beautiful. It is evident that it was inspired from your walk with God.
Mhm.
And I absolutely love the ending. You know, I skipped ahead to the ending because, first of all, your illustrations are just beautiful. And I just stand in awe of your illustrations because I still do stick people. So, okay. So, if I wanted to do a children's book, I'm coming to you because my stick, you have to give vision to my stick people. But I love the end of the book when the lamb is walking behind Jesus going into those gates. Something about that just touched my heart, and it's just so beautiful and it's special. And I really hope that our listeners will get the book for your children, for your grandchildren. Take our word for it. It is beautiful, it is special, and I just applaud you for that. And my only other thing is if someone like me wanted to get in touch with you and say, okay, I have an idea in my head, how would they get in touch with you? How would they find you as an illustrator? Is it an illustrator's website somewhere? Or, you know, how does that work?
Well, it's kind of odd. I have a weird name for my website. And
Okay.
that's because we had a website because our family used to do a family music ministry years ago. And so I already had that website and I just took it and transformed it into my Illustrator website. So
Okay.
it's www.landofharvest.com, landofharvest.com, which really has nothing to do, it sounds anything to do with illustration and art, but that's what I have. So there are samples of my art there and how you can get a hold of me. I'm also on Facebook. I think my artist page is something like Kim Merritt Art Lady.
Okay.
Artist, Kim Merritt, artist and illustrator. I don't know, something like that. I mean, if you type me in, you'll find me.
You are
Yeah.
Googlicious.
And, excuse me?
We call it Googlicious. If we can find you on Google, you
Yes.
are Googlicious.
Yes. Yes.
Good,
Yeah.
good. What is it? You have an email address if anybody wanted to email you, or they just
Yes.
contact the website? Okay.
Yep. So Kim Merritt, and that has 2 R's and 2 T's. Kim Merritt, 65. I'm telling you how old I am. I was born in 65. 65 at yahoo.com.
You in good company. 64 here.
All right, so I put the link to the website on the comments. So if
Good.
anybody
Thank
wants
you.
to reach out, it's in there.
It is just beautiful. And I think one question about the book is what made you decide to put the scripture reference in the side? It was so nice to have the scripture reference, and I liked how it was in blue and in white on the side of the pictures. I'm telling you, that last one just touched my heart.
Yeah, I kept thinking if it's just me talking and I don't include God's word in there so that the parent can have a chance to read God's word to the child, then I don't know. I just felt like I would be missing something. So
Right.
I really feel like that first book was something that the Lord and I just wanted to do it for him so much. And so, so I felt like it was important to put those verses that have been precious to me, that have taught me those things about him in there. And So I have had many people say that that's something that they liked about it. They
Right.
thought that that was unusual to
Mhm.
have the verses right there. So I had thought about putting them all at the end, but then what parent's going to sit there and read all those verses at the end, you know?
Right.
So I
Perfectly.
thought maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Perfectly positioned.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think that's all I had because my
Oh,
co-hosts have
you
said
forgot one
everything
thing.
I wanted to say.
You
Go ahead.
forgot one thing.
What? Get the book. Get the
Thank you.
That's my tagline. Everybody out there, get the book. I did say it though. I said, get the book for your children, your grandchildren, for anybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I love it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Well, I tell you what, our time is just about up. Kim, it has been a delight. You have been a great guest for Authors Up. You have given us some wonderful, wonderful tips and nuggets and things we need to know if we are going forward and looking for an illustrator. We know, first of all, to start with you. And then, we know we got to be on our game and be able to give you as much detail as possible so that you can put it together the way that it needs to be. We love your illustrations and to see what you have done with Giselle's Whimsical Day and Silly Soggy Day, and now to see your own books. I hope it's as gratifying to you as it has been to us. Ooh.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh, we have an extra guest.
Yeah, we tired of you talking. Okay. Who you talking to?
As we always say beyond Get the Book, you never know what's going to happen on our But we thank you so much. And we ask you if you'll just hang in there for just a minute after we close out the show. That would be wonderful. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining us this evening. We hope that you got some great information and will enjoy everything that Kim is doing. Take advantage of it. Take a look at the books that she is producing. They are absolutely wonderful, and they are good reads, and it's got good information, and they're the kinds of books that you would love to share with little ones that you know, and read yourself. Be blessed by it. Bless yourself.
Absolutely.
When you're able to read them. Do either of you ladies have any final comments to make before we're off the air tonight? No?
Just the usual. If you have any questions, comments, would like to know how to be on our show, you can email us at authorsup@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook or on Instagram, YouTube. Search for Authors Up Show and you'll find us.
There you go. You've got all the information you need. Now, there's only one last thing, and that is come back next week. We'll be right here at 7 p.m. on Sunday evening, and we're going to, I don't know what we're going to share next week. You know, it's always a toss-up with Authors Up. We have surprises for you every week. So be sure to come back next week and relax with us a little bit, laugh a little bit, get some good information. And we will see you then. Invite a friend, bring somebody else along with you and tell them all about Authors Up as well. So that's all we have. Thank you again, Kim, Ruth, and Victoria. Bless you, ladies.
Good night, Bronze girls.
God bless you. Thank you, everybody.